What's going on, everybody? My name is Hao Vu, and this is the Hao Vu Moto Vlog. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Before I begin, I want to make sure everyone listening, everyone out there, everyone subscribed, everyone liking, commenting, even you dislikers, I wish you all the best just the same. This crazy time filled with masks and hand sanitizers and social distancing and teleconferencing and working from home. It's just really crazy. A lot of DoorDash, you know what I mean? It's crazy what this pandemic is doing to the world. It's crazy what the new normal is going to look like moving forward. And I know a lot of people are in a tough position right now. So, I wish you the best. Keep your head up. Things will get better. They always do. And it's a great time to be grateful. Count your blessings, Food on the table, got cold beer in the fridge, happy, healthy family and friends. What more could you possibly ask for? Having a motorcycle and be able to get on it and ride on a beautiful Saturday morning like I did, that's the icing on the cake. I don't take it for granted. So that's where I am right now, guys. I wish you all the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So on a lighter note, let's get into today's video. Don't buy a CBR500R if ... I'm going to get into some reasons why you, as a new rider, as a potential new rider, or as someone in the market for their first motorcycle, maybe these are some reasons that the CBR500R might not be the best choice for you. Keep in mind that I'm just some random guy on YouTube. I admittedly know nothing. Just have a conversation with me, hear me out, hear my perspective on this, and at the end of the day, make your own decision, follow your heart. You'll be absolutely fine. Don't even worry about it. I just want to say that I'm going to be talking about 5 bikes at the end of this video, and when I refer to this segment of motorcycles, I'm talking about the 2020 model year, available in the USA, and greater than 350 cc's and less than 500 cc's. Those are the bikes that I'll be talking about, namely the CBR 500R, the Kawasaki Ninja 400, the Kawasaki Z400, the KTM 390 Duke, and the KTM RC 390. Those are going to be the bikes that meet this criteria. Those are going to be the bikes that I think are the most direct competitors in terms of performance to the CBR 500R. So don't get a CBR 500R if you want to go fast. If you want to go fast, like Ricky Bobby fast, maybe the 500R is not the right choice for you. And this is just the main issue for you new riders who don't really understand the differences between bike classes. And you see the CBR 500R on Craigslist, and you see the price, and you see the look of it, and you're just like, wow. And all your friends have leader bikes. They have super sport bikes like the 600RR, like a Gixxer 750, like a Yamaha R6 or something like that. And you want to be like them. You want to go really, really fast, and you're all about the thrills, and you're all about that daredevil life. The 500R is not the bike for you. I hate to break your bubble. It's just a parallel twin that makes 471 cc's with just under 50 horsepower, right? It can't even be compared to those super sport bikes with the performance suspension, performance brakes, those big fat rear tires. It's just in a completely different class of motorcycles. So know what you're getting into. If you want to play with those big boys, this cannot play with the big boys in terms of speed and performance. In terms of looks, yes, she can go up against the best of them. But, if performance and speed is your main thing, then you're in the wrong class of motorcycle, buddy. These 400cc motorcycles are just beginner plus motorcycles. They're enough to get street riding done. They're just enough to get a decent amount of passing power on the highway at those higher highway speeds, maybe 70 to 80 miles per hour. But, that's pretty much the extent of what these 400cc bikes can do, in my opinion. Don't buy a CBR 500R if you want to go slow. And I know a lot of you are thinking, what are you talking about, Halvu? Why would anyone want to go slow? And just hear me out. I want to address all types of riders, not just most riders, right? I want to talk about all types of riders. For most riders, yes, I would recommend the CBR 500R as a first bike. It would be a perfect first bike for most riders. It was a perfect first bike for me. It technically wasn't my first bike. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I had a CB500R for a little while. But, most people is not all people. I know some people are going to want a smaller displacement motorcycle and who are going to need that confidence. People who maybe took the beginner rider's course and they didn't do too hot. Maybe they failed it their first time around and they had to retake it. Maybe maybe they didn't take to it as naturally as some of the other boys and girls in the class and just kind of struggling with it. Maybe never really understood a manual transmission. What is a clutch and what are gears? What is shifting? What is life? Maybe that kind of person needs to start out on a 125 to build that confidence. And there's nothing wrong with that. Leave your pride and your ego at the door. Leave the negative opinions of others at the door when they tell you, oh, that's for wimps, those small bikes, Don't listen to all that. Listen to yourself and understand yourself and your needs. This is your motorcycling journey, There's no shame and no harm even in starting on a 125 and starting on a 250. Go for used, 5 to 10 years old. Get a good condition one, whatever your budget is, buy it, learn on it, build extraordinary amounts of confidence in your first year, maybe less, and sell the damn thing after that and move on. The market is literally flooded with these bikes, 500 cc's and less, because for the most part, people buy them, they learn, and they move on. So you can buy them and you can sell them so easily. If you're only talking about 1 year here, you're going to buy it and pretty much sell it for the same price. You're not going to lose almost any money. You're going to basically ride for free or for just a very minimal amount. You're talking about a couple $100 at least if you find the right deals, the amount of money you're potentially going to be losing. Basically think of it as renting a bike to learn on for a year and, paying like $100, $100, $200, or maybe breaking even, or in some cases even making money if you bought it at a really good price. You know what I'm saying? So just listen to yourself. If you want to go slow, do your thing, build that confidence, and who knows, you might be the next Marquez, you might be the next Valentino Rossi. It's not about where you begin, it's about where you go, where you end up, that you keep on picking yourself up after you fall. So that's more important. Don't buy the CBR500R if you want to be perfectly upright in your riding posture. If it is a deal breaker for you, if you have maybe like back issues or postural issues or some kind of muscle issues, or you just really value comfort and you don't want to lean over at all, you want to be perfectly upright, go for something with dedicated higher set handlebars. Generally, fully fared sporty bikes are going to have the handlebars a little lower because at the end of the day, they're going to be designed for a little more sporty riding, a little more performance-oriented riding when you're going to be a little lower and really pushing into those handlebars. So just know that. There are better options if you want to remain perfectly upright. I've said it before, the CBR500R is a very comfortable bike. I did 600 miles in one day, and while I was not the most comfortable at the end of the day, I still really can't complain, all things considered. And really the last thing I will say is don't buy the CBR500R if you want the lightest bike of the bunch, especially in this. It's obvious to say that those 250 class bikes, they're going to be much lighter, but in this 400-ish range of bikes, the CBR500R is the heaviest one. It is also the biggest engine, by about 70 cc. So it makes sense that this is a little heavier. But, if you're all about that weight, then yeah, you'd be better off going with pretty much any other bike in this segment that's at least 50, sometimes 60 pounds lighter. That's with a full tank of gas than the CBR500R. But I want to wrap it up by saying that most of the bikes in this category, they're almost the same on paper. There are some that are quicker, quicker off the line, quicker 0 to 60, maybe higher top end here and there. But, generally, they're not going to blow each other out of the water. They're all relatively the same, okay? And a lot of people are going to give me hell for saying something like that. But honestly, it's not going to be night and day difference between any of these bikes. Generally, in terms of price, in terms of overall performance, these are generally beginner plus bikes. They're going to have more power than the 250s, more friendly to learn on than the super sports, the 600s and aboves. And they're going to have ample power on the street and on the highway, which is more than I can say for the 250 class of motorcycles. I think generally in that 250 to under 350 range of engine size, it's going to be kind of struggling on the highway for the most part. It's not going to have that really passing power that you want at higher highway speeds, like, when you're talking about 75, 80 miles per hour. I think the 250s and the 300s, they're just generally not going to do that well on the highway, as opposed to this 400 class of motorcycles that are going to be able to get it done much more appropriately on the highway. So that's what I will have to say about that. And to you new riders, don't worry about it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Just pick a bike, follow your heart, and if it doesn't work out, then what's the worst that could happen, right? Just sell the bike and move on with your journey. At least it's a learning experience. As long as you take everything as a learning experience and you keep moving forward, that's all that matters. And I think it's also really important to just focus on your skills as a rider, developing your skills as a rider as opposed to focusing on speed alone. That's going to help you out in the long run in terms of being a safer rider, especially. It doesn't take any skill to roll on the throttle and go fast in a straight line. It takes skill to take a corner at high speeds and keep your speed and link your turns, right? And do that really efficiently and know how to use the front brake and the rear brake and really get that bike leaned over and just really carve it out, That takes a lot of time and practice and energy and effort, right? The guy that buys the leader bike and just, goes fast and just tries to flex around town but doesn't know what he's doing when he goes to the twisties, that this guy on a 300 cc's that actually took the time to practice is smoking him in the corners in his bike that cost 7 times more and is literally like 25 times faster, right? It's just embarrassing him in the corners because, he's a better rider. That feels cool, right? You should want to get to that level, even if you don't intend to be like performance track or, carving it in the canyons. The more you get to know your bike and the sport of riding, the safer you'll be, the more tools you'll have available to you when push comes to shove. If you ever get into a situation, you're going to be a more technically proficient rider. You're going to be much more confident and you're going to know exactly what to do to get yourself out of a hairy situation as opposed to maybe just a casual rider who never really put any time into learning the bike and just honing their skills and just really learning the art and the sport of motorcycle riding, It's kind of like Mario Kart. For those of you guys who have played Mario Kart before, the player that's the best at drifting always comes in first place for the most part, right? It's all about drifting and maintaining your speed and staying on track and just being very efficient. So that's it, guys, for the list in terms of what I think would make sense starting out as your first bike. Would the CBR500R make sense for you? And let's get into the specific bikes in the segment. Just a brief overview. I'm going to throw some pictures on the screen so you can get a good idea of what these bikes look like and what they look like on paper as well. Starting off with the Kawasaki Ninja 400. Had to start off with this one because it is the most direct competitor to the CBR500R in terms of looks and performance. For me, it was just all about the looks, they're both beautiful bikes. They both have that aggressive look. But for me, the paint scheme on a lot of the Kawasaki's, it doesn't really grow on me. And I think that overall the Honda looks prettier and will age more gracefully. I think the Kawasaki's have always been very here, very now, but maybe like 10 years from now, I think looking back, I think I will enjoy the Honda better. I think it will age a lot more gracefully if that makes sense to you guys. So that's why I chose it over the Kawasaki Ninja 400. The next thing is just the Kawasaki Z400. It's just basically the naked version of the Ninja 400. They're going to be very similar on paper. They're going to be like sisters, not quite twins, but sisters, They're going to have different ride qualities for sure, but overall it's just going to come down to personal preference. Do your own research. The next bike is the KTM 390 Duke, which is KTM's naked variant in this class. Now, these bikes are not 390. They are actually 370-ish. So they're rounding up a little bit, KTM. The thing with me for these bikes is just that polarizing orange. Altogether, it's a beautiful bike, and the colors work well together, but just I know that orange can be very polarizing. A lot of people are going to be put off by that, and especially that they don't offer another option. You always have to go with that bright orange. I think it would suit them to maybe get more sales and just offer a more neutral color palette, but then again, that's just me. And the last bike on this list is the RC390. Is their track performance fully fared bike. So this one on paper, I noticed that it's 2.6 gallon fuel capacity, which is a whole 2 gallons less than CBR and about a gallon less than the Ninjas and the Kawasaki's. So I think they made some compromises there to make this more track performing. That's just my guess. I think it's a beautiful bike, except those headlights. Just the whole shape of the bike is beautiful. But I don't know what they were thinking with those headlights. It's just like someone gave up. It's just like it loaded 95% and just crashed. And then they just put this like hole in the front and just stuffed 2 dots inside of it. Just looks kind of weird to me. Also, I will say that I've read that KTMs are not the most reliable machines. I think that if reliability is a big thing for you, you want to go Japanese for reliability. So that rounds out our list, guys. I hope this helped you new riders in the market. Hope that gave you some perspective, get to know me a little better. On my journey, I'm telling you that the CBR500R is absolutely amazing. I love it, And we'll see where this journey takes me. But for now, I'm just focused on my skills as a rider. I'm focused on enjoying the CBR500R and enjoying my motorcycle experience. So if you made it this far, guys, thank you very, very much. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and comments, likes, dislikes. Thank you to you all. I truly, truly appreciate it. Again, I wish you all happiness. I wish you all health. I wish you all unlimited joy on your riding journey, no matter where you end up. So thank you so much. I'll see you soon.